FanDuel TV's Kentucky Derby week coverage is presented by Spendthrift Farm.
Welcome back to Churchill Downs as it is day 3 of breakfast at the Derby. It's starting to feel real around here. With post positions drawn, we are buttoning things up for the 152nd run for the Roses. And today, we'll see Bob Baffert's best bullet, Potente, on track as he'll be putting in his final work and getting a look at the competition. Chief Wallaby, well, he won't be looking at much. He'll be working in his new headgear as blinkers go on for the Kentucky Derby. And then there's Incredibolt. Dad, I'll see your one starter in the Derby and raise you 2. The Virginia Derby winner will be working as well. Todd Pletcher, that's the man behind the binoculars. Hey, Todd, what you looking at? Your competition or some blonde? A Brooklyn blonde, that is, as we'll get a look at this Oaks Contender as well. It is day 3 here at Churchill Downs of breakfast at the Derby. Welcome back to Churchill Downs. Mike Joyce, Simon Bray, Joe Talmo. Tractors over our shoulder. They're renovating the track so the Derby horses can make their way on, and we're going to see 3 big ones today.
We are. We're looking forward to Chief Wallaby going to be working Potente for Bob Baffert. Looking forward to see how he goes, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. On Chief Wallaby, I'm really interested to see work back, especially the second time with blinkers on. I know it put a little bit more speed into him coming off those 3 starts, so interested to see him.
And Riley Mott's 2 horses as well, right?
Yes, Riley Mott has a pair as well, Albus and Incredibolt. Let's take a look, though. They drew post positions yesterday, and as always with the Derby, there was some drama with who drew what post. Renegade with the rail. We'll talk more about this at length, I'm sure, but right now, how does this affect what's potentially your Derby favorite?
I mean, you can't make this up, right? I
No.
mean, knowing the connections.
No.
Well, as Mike said, we'll talk about it later and Mike Rapolo's response to it, but I honestly thought, I was on for the draw yesterday, Joe. I just thought there might have been a slight change in the morning line. The morning line was given out at the conclusion of the draw, obviously, and I just thought maybe Further Ado might have gone as the morning line favorite. And the other thing I'm surprised about this is that there's 2 points between Renegade and Further Ado. I think they're closer than that.
I couldn't agree more. I thought it would have been flip-flop.
Yeah.
Maybe 4-1 on Further Ado, 5-1 on Renegade, just based off the draw. I mean,
Correct.
that one hole is so hard.
Yeah, we have all week to take apart that morning line, but the draw for Renegade, very interesting. Let's take a look at the track right now. They're resurfacing, and they do this every morning at this time. We start the show during the renovation break because immediately afterwards, that's when they let the Derby and Oaks horses on the track, and they have 15 minutes that is exclusively for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching the show for the first time, normally we'll have a couple of hundred horses out here, and you can see the harrow part of the racetrack. So they harrow the racetrack and they give all the Derby and Oaks horses a chance to get over a fresh racetrack. It's kind of like the Zamboni in ice hockey.
By the way, the one set that has flowers, that's ours, just so you know. The other ones haven't set up yet. We're the real team. Let's take a look at the 7-day weather forecast. I mean, I never look more than 3 days out, but right now it looks like Oaks and Derby should be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, the precipitation, what little precipitation we have, most of it, I believe, is overnight, in the overnight hours. So during racing time, I don't think it's going to come. Temperature might drop a little bit Friday and Saturday, especially as we're running these races on Friday into the evening hours. 8:40 post for Kentucky Oaks.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully it's 66 because we were looking earlier. It said high 50s, so hopefully that's wrong.
You guys, I know we'll be looking for work, but I wouldn't apply at the Weather Channel. At any rate, we can't do it ourselves, although we'd like to because we love listening to ourselves speak. But let's take a look at the crew we have assembled around the racetrack. Caton Bradar on site, Andy Biancone, and fresh from Keeneland Racecourse, Scott Hazelton has made his way to Louisville, and we start there.
And Michael, I'm over here at the Bob Baffert barn where, as you have discussed, Potente is going to be coming out and taking a spin, a work on the track at 7:15. So looking forward to seeing how this son of Into Mischief gets over this racetrack at full speed or somewhat full speed. He's an imposing looking son of Into Mischief out of a wonderful first dam in Sweet Sting. And this is a colt that was purchased for $2.4 million by Peter Floor's Speedway Stables. So Potente, Caton Bradar, 7:15. Let's see how the big horse for the Baffert barn, along with Litmus Test, who's already put in his workout, but the focus on Potente here this morning. As you're just, I can see you over my shoulder. You're just right over there, a couple barns away over at Bill Mott's barn.
Yeah, me and a whole bunch of other people, as in addition to Chief Wallaby, we've got Sovereignty, the reigning Derby winner, in the same barn, in fact, in the stall right next to Chief Wallaby. So the two horses have attracted a lot of attention. We are expecting Chief Wallaby to come out in just a few minutes, and he too is going to work a half-mile, easy half-mile, according to Bill, in company with a horse named Steele. Junior Alvarado will be aboard for the work, as he is his regular pilot, and he, of course, was aboard Sovereignty for last year's win. And the focus of attention for much of the last half an hour or so has been as much on Junior as it has been on the horses. He's got a whole film crew that is following him, his every movement, and he's also had a number of fans that have come up to shake his hand and greet him. He's had a busy 24 hours because Junior was in Florida yesterday riding for Bill Mott, among other trainers, and Florida at Gulfstream Park for their big Florida bred stakes showcase. And he did pick up a couple victories for the Bill Mott barn, hopped on a plane, connected in Atlanta, and fortunately had a lot easier travel than most of us have had in recent days. Got here to the barn early, talked to Mott, and got his instructions. And again, Mott joking, it was a pretty good day yesterday for the Mott barn. Hopefully it can continue. We will check in with Bill after the work to see how things go, and also to ask him about the equipment change, as we will see blinkers on Chief Wallaby from post 12 in the Kentucky Derby. But much like last year, mood very lighthearted. And as we go to Andy Biancone, who is by the Riley Mott barn, I'm wondering if part of the levity is not just his own horse, but the fact that his son has two Derby horses as well. Andy?
Caton, certainly a family affair, very special to see Riley Mott, who obviously worked for his father, Bill, for a very long time, have two of his very own Derby horses this year. It really is awesome to see. But Riley Mott's horses are going to work today. Incredible and Albus will put in their final half-a-mile drills. We're looking for just easy works here, but they will each be going in company, not with each other. Incredible will be ridden by Jaime Torres in this work, and he'll be working with a horse named Juan Dale, and Albus will be working with a horse named Theoretical. But easy half-a-mile breezes. They were supposed to work yesterday, but Riley Mott found that the track was a little bit heavier than he would have liked. There was a ton of rain yesterday night, not a ton, but enough to make the track just a little bit heavy. But today, perfect conditions. Riley Mott is on the front side. We will certainly be checking in with him after his horses work. And right now, Albus and Incredible are both doing their rounds in the shed row and getting ready to hit the track, Mike.
Yeah, it's got to be a thrill for the Mott family, and we talk about it all the time. No sire has stamped his progeny more so than Bill Mott with Riley.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, the absolute clone. And I think it goes back to what I said yesterday. I think some of not the pressure's off Bill Mott, but the fact that he's got a Derby underneath his belt, he can come in now a little more relaxed. You know, we talked about it when, a player wins a major in a golf tournament, when they come back for the next time, we've done that. We've been there before. And I think now, at least he's done it before Riley's got one. So, I mean, I think they're going to have a great week.
And that's what's so cool about Riley. I mean, he was obviously an assistant for his dad, but, I mean, could you imagine learning under one of the greatest horsemen of our generation?
Yeah. Simon, could you imagine that?
Yeah. Fortunately, I'm sitting up here. I'm a bad student.
Let's get back to the field for the Kentucky Derby, because here's the post position draw. Now, the outside went to full effort. I think they're probably fine with that.
Yep.
The inside went to Renegade. Well, let's see what the owner of Renegade had to say, as Mike Rapoli responding via X to the post position draw number one. And this is what he had to say, Simon.
Yeah, he wasn't too worried about it. We'll show you the tweet here in just a second. He actually wasn't concerned. I mean, do I read all this out? I wouldn't trade places with anyone heading into the Derby. I'll take Pletcher, Irad, and the best horse in Renegade from post 1 every time. Is it ideal? No, but I'll take the 1 post over the 15 to 20 post. By the way, post 13 and higher lost 33 runnings, only 16 and 1. Post all day with Renegade's closing style and explosive late kick. He'll save ground while others will be running extra distance. You can get trouble from anywhere, but being the far outside could cost him 7 to 10 lengths.
I'll actually go further than that, because when you look at how he drew, Albus, Intrepido, and Litmus Test. Albus can be fast. He came from way off the pace in the Wood Memorial, but he was a speedy horse, so he's not exactly a slug. But Intrepido and Litmus Test might be the 2 fastest horses in the race. They could kind of actually make a little pocket for Irad and Renegade there. This might not be a terrible spot with the way the speed is drawn so close to
Exactly. And Rapoli puts it in that tweet. Another thing, don't forget, since 2021, the new starting gate, the inside post, we touched on that during the races yesterday. So they don't have that elbow. No excuses. Some people say I have bad luck at Kentucky Derby. 0 for 8 plus 3 scratches, 2 of them favorites. Hand in head emoji. I see it differently. I'm blessed.
Blessed to have these opportunities, blessed to have the Derby favorite, blessed to have the Oaks favorite. Great luck to all the connections in both the Derby and the Oaks. LFG. Am I even allowed to say the F on TV? Thank you, Rapoli Stable. Look, Mike Rapoli has been, and like I said this yesterday, however you feel about him, all right? It's like Howard Stern. People love him or hate him, right? You have strong feelings one way or the other. When somebody puts this much money in the sport and goes to sales and buys that many horses and keeps this many horses in training and employs this many people, you want them to have success. Whether you like them or not, it's better for everyone if a guy like this stays engaged with the game the way he is.
Very positive. And I could have predicted that. When the 1 pill came out, I could have predicted that tweet from Mike Rapoli. He's not a half-full guy. I mean, half-empty guy. He's half full. If they put Renegade in and say, we're going to put him in backwards, he'd like, that's not a problem. Yeah. The others have to come out and they might bump each other. He would come up with some line.
Yeah, I feel like that's an entrepreneur in it, too. And he makes a great point, too, about the new starting gate. They don't have the auxiliary gate, so it is a lot more off of the rail like what it used to be.
There used to be a tight elbow. I mean, the prime example of that is looking at Lucky, right? When he got slammed there. So it's a little better. We showed you a shot of it during racing yesterday.
Wasn't looking at Lucky, too, the first year they did the pill drop instead of the selection?
I think so.
So if it had been the selection, he would have had first choice, where he could put looking at Lucky in the gate.
What, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, my God.
So he draws the rail the first year they go back to the pill instead of the selection process.
Well, Baffert's
never
had
fails.
One post than anybody.
Yeah. Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, my choice, we're waiting at the gap with the Lucas Gap with Incredible to Albus and their workmates. Incredible is under Jaime Torres, standing so kind and just looking relaxed and ready to go to work. But his workmate will be Juan Dale, who is the bay to the right on the back corner. And Theoretical is with assistant trainer Sophia Thompson, and she's going to be working with the Wood Memorial winner Albus. So just like I said, easy works. Juan Dale is actually an unraced horse, and Theoretical is still a maiden, but these are just going to be really easy works for everybody. You know, Incredible and Albus, their job is to just have a little bit of maintenance here. They're not going to be blowing by these obviously lesser qualified horses, and you know, it's just going to be an easy work. So that's kind of why they're paired with these horses. Just really a nice, easy maintenance drill for them. But really, all credit to Riley Mott. These horses are so well behaved. They're not tense at all. They're not chomping at the bit. They're just standing here, relaxed, happy. They both look very content, and certainly a team effort. They've got, you know, each have a hot walker, like I said, assistant trainer Sophia Thompson on the pony with Theoretical, as she might be a little more antsy than the boys are, but everybody waiting patiently and excitedly to get onto the track.
Let's be honest about the Riley Mott charges. I think we're very dubious of Albus's chances. We don't think the Wood Memorial was particularly strong this year. But Incredible, I think there's a couple of positives to go with a couple of question marks. And I think the one thing that stands out is his Virginia Derby. And I know it wasn't the toughest race in the world, but a 1-turn mile and an eighth. So they're on the bridle a bit more than if it's a 2-turn affair. So that could actually be a really good foundation builder. And the second thing, he came home in 12 seconds flat, which is a really fast come-home time. And I know it was a fast track, but even so, I still think that was impressive.
And to your point, Mike, I mean, they went 47 flat. It was only 2 lengths off the pace there. So, I mean, the Derby's going to be a pretty tepid pace. I mean, for the most part, it always is. I don't know if they have a ton of gas like in years past, but I'm sure they're going to put up at least a 47 flat, maybe 46 and change. I mean, you for the most part, I think you want to have kind of that tactical speed to where you're not dropping, 10, 15 back if they slow it down, but he's a horse that can definitely put him up in a good spot.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he matches up, but he will be a price, and I think he is a price horse to include. We know he can motor home. We know he's got that closing kick. Is it faster than a Renegade? I don't know about that. Is it faster than some of these other horses? I don't know. But is he going to be coming late if he gets a good trip? I would imagine he is.
Yeah, I mean, he always puts in a run. He's an honest racer, and that's all you want. Like you say, he might run lights out and end up finishing 6th.
Right.
I mean, he might come running late, and that's the best he can do.
And the one good thing, too, he has a win in the Street Sense here back in the fall, so he's a horse that does like it here at Churchill Downs.
Here's a look at Potente now. And Potente, of course, for Bob Baffert, sensational. His second start, wins a graded stake, earns 50 points to get into the Kentucky Derby, and then in the Santa Anita Derby was second, and he was second best to So Happy that day. But Bob said that wasn't necessarily the trip he wanted. He said he found himself on the lead. He had clearly been a much better horse from off the pace in the San Felipe prior. What are we looking for today? Obviously, it's just a maintenance drill, but what are we looking for from Potente? What would have to happen for Potente to win the Kentucky Derby?
Well, the fact he said yesterday was right. He said he wanted him to relax. I think that's key. And now knowing that Litmus Test is in there, his stablemate, who's going to gun and go with the blinkers on, I think we can kind of surmise what's going to happen here. At least that's the plan. So I want to see a relaxed work. That's Martin Garcia, I believe.
Yeah.
On top. Looks like him. I recognize him. So, yeah, I want to see a relaxed work and, not do the work upside down, not go fast early and slow late, go slow early and fast at the end. And
remember, we saw that with Citizen Bull last year, too. They went that really sharp half mile.
See, you can see the workmate there. Saddle towel workmate.
There we go.
yeah. I don't think he's... I've never seen him in the entry box workmate yet.
No.
But now, knowing that he's got the workmate there, I would expect to see Potente sit behind him. Right, Joe?
Sit right off.
Sit right off him?
I would imagine.
By the way, somebody is absolutely naming a horse workmate now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if workmate qualified for the Derby? Would you have workmate and workmate? Who did workmate work with? Workmate. As we take a look, there's Martin Garcia, all smiles as he usually is. You talk about glass half full from the Rapoli camp. I don't think anyone's been glass half fuller than Martin Garcia.
Yeah.
He's always smiling.
Oh,
always.
Great attitude. Guy that is an infectious smile, I would call it. And a very good jockey. You rode against him for years in California, Joe.
Oh, yeah. We had the same valet, too. So, unfortunately, he sat right next to him.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, I love Martin. We actually keep in touch pretty often.
Do you?
A great origin story, too.
Tuna sandwiches.
Yeah, he was making sandwiches, and someone said, you're not very tall. Have you ever tried being a jockey?
Yeah.
I'm not making that up. That's how it started.
I know.
Makes a mean tuna sandwich.
As you can see, they're starting to head back to where they're going to start the work from. Now, what's the plan for Potente today?
I'm assuming 5/8 in company. That would be... that's incredible, standing on the right there. So we'll probably be able to get both these live. As typical with the Bill Mott horses, Riley and Bill, they stand there and look. And this prevents horses from coming on the track. You see a lot of horses, when they walk up to the track, they're calm. The minute they step on, they get anxious, because that's when they step on, they just blast off. So he likes...
I love that.
They've been... Him and the late Christophe Clement used to do it. He learned it from Bill. Just stand there, pace and park wherever they go. I used to do it with my horses because I worked for him, and gets them to relax.
When they said, come to Dawn at the Downs to see a horse's ass, I thought they were talking about me. No, it was Albus and Incredibolt. There's a look at Potente about to break away. They're getting close here. And now we have Chief Wallaby coming out on the track as well. A lot of action right now. But we're going to stay with Potente because he's going to break away into this work right here. Now, Joe, take us through what Martin's doing and when does the actual work start?
Depending if they... So that's a 3/4 pole they just passed by. I'm assuming, like Simon said, they're going to go 5/8, maybe a half. So you could see they should be breaking off pretty soon if they're going to go 5/8.
I thought the work rate...
See, that's the 5.5 there.
Yeah.
Maybe they are going to half.
Half out, maybe out, tossed away. I thought the workmate would be in front. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Well,
see, they just passed the 5/8, so they're probably going to have... Yeah, here we go. 4.5. And kind of like Brad Cox, Bob Baffert a lot, he'll work instead of from the half out, he'll go like 4.5 to a 16th past the wire.
Yeah, they're working in company, so they're just heads up here, and you can see Martin is just sitting off the workmate. We thought that was the plan, and that's exactly what happened. Got him on the outside, teaching him to relax, finish. Good workhorse.
Yeah, he's absolutely loaded, too. You could see Martin just sitting on him. Probably going to maybe ask him a little bit, just passing a quarter pole there. But, I mean, he's striding out really, really nice. And to Bob's point, he wants him to relax in the Derby. I mean, this is kind of what you want to do in work, and just let him kind of cruise up like that and maybe finish about a half a length in front and gallop out nice.
Joe, what about the ears? They look like they're pinned to me.
The ears are pinned back all the way.
Okay, so is that good or bad?
He's exerting himself pretty good.
So he gets by the wire about a neck in front, galloping out here through the turn. The workmate's pulling even with him in the gallop out.
Yeah, the workmate caught up to him, and look over our shoulder, they're coming on by. But I think the part they wanted to accomplish was the early part where he sat just a half length off him, wasn't too aggressive, and finished up. So just a maintenance work.
If you watch the Santa Anita Derby, So Happy was the best horse, without a doubt. Potente, to me, it would take a lot for a horse to be able to flip-flop in just one race, that gap of talent and ability that we saw that day. But it's Bob Baffert. He has a great way of bringing these horses up into their peak form come Derby. What would have to happen for Potente to be the Derby winner here and to get better than these other horses?
Well, he's got to, I think, sit off the pace. Exactly what Bob said. I think he got chewed up on the lead last time. At least that's the excuse. Now, he can sit off the pace, and hopefully he can finish up. But I'm with Mike. So Happy just blew right by him.
Yeah.
I mean, he pulled away from him.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I will say that the one positive for Potente in all three starts, he's improved his buyer. So even though he did get beat last time, he ran a 95 buyer prior to that at 89. But yeah, to flip-flop it, I mean, he's just going to have to be at his absolute best.
Now, here's Incredible getting into the work right now. Obviously, he's the one in the yellow saddle towel there for Riley Mott. And they're already into the body of this work.
And kind of the same thing as Potente. He's a horse that they know is going to be coming from off the pace, so try and get him to settle early on there. I don't think we're going to see anything too flashy. But again, we're 6 days out, so you don't want to do anything too quick, but just a nice leg stretcher like this.
Yeah, these. I mean, this is a beautiful way of going here. And look at the riders. Both of them are just motionless and incredible. There's so much left in the tank here. What I like about him, he's not going to be as far back as Full Effort right to party, and he's not going to be on the lead with some of the speed horses like 6 Feet. He's going to be 2 to 3 lengths off the lead, or maybe 4, but he's not going to be coming from way downtown, and I think that's going to bode well for him.
He drew in the middle of the field. He's got a great position. I was sitting behind Jaime Torres during the draw yesterday, and he and his significant other were ecstatic with that draw. I mean, they literally cheered when they got that post position. So for them, it's all about trip. It's all about, is he good enough? But he's a horse that's on the improve. If you take away that Holy Bull, which was a really disappointing effort, this is a horse who's been very good in just about every start, including that win in the Street Sense, as you pointed out, Joe, which the past performances at Churchill Downs really come into play when you're making your way to the Derby.
Oh, for sure. And all tracks aren't created equal either. I know we see a lot of times horses that come from, say, Oaklawn Park don't really handle Churchill and vice versa. So if you have a win here at Churchill Downs going into the Derby, that is money.
Sovereignty took the Street Sense in his 2-year
Yeah,
before
that's
he came
right.
back and won.
There is Chief Wallaby for the original Mott, Bill Mott. This horse, just tons of talent. I think the story that really jumped out to all of us in this horse's progression was that Bill Mott, being as meticulous and conservative a trainer as he can be at times, put him in the Fountain of Youth in his second career start. That should tell you all you need to know about how much ability he showed as Hall of Fame.
Well, he was at a little bit of a crossroads. He wanted to run him in an A other than, and there wasn't really a spot to run him in down there because, there were a lot of stakes races. So he said, we're going to put him in the Fountain of Youth, and that will decide where we go. Will we go on to this point, or will we take a step back, regroup, and go in an A other than? And he proved that he belonged. I mean, he's very, very lightly raced, but that doesn't matter in these times. We've seen horses lightly raced run well in the Derby, and again, this will be a Bill Mott. I mean, he loves horses to work a lot slower early and finish up. He just wants them to finish up. This horse is under a hammer line.
And I mean, look who he's run against. In his first start, he actually beat the Puma.
Yep.
Then he finished his second time neck in his second career start to Commandment in the Fountain of Youth. And then back in the Florida Derby, Commandment and the Puma were just a half a length above him. So, I mean, he's coming out of some really good races.
I think the assessment you have to make with the Florida horses is I think that's the hardest jurisdiction to assess because they've all, you know, the Puma, Commandment, class president who's not here, they all faced each other.
Yeah.
This work is really, really good. Obviously, they're not going as fast. He wanted them just to stay heads up. I guarantee this is probably a 101.
Yeah,
102, maybe 101 and 4.
This horse looks like he is about to jump out of his skin.
He's just
Look at the rider's
absolutely
legs.
loaded, Yeah.
The proverbial cliche, feet in the dash, right?
And that's what we've been talking about all week. The last work, you don't want to do too much.
Right.
That work on April 20th, the minute flat, that was the one that they wanted to get a lot out of him with the blinkers on. This is just kind of maintenance mode. Right? We talked about bubble wrap time. Don't do too much.
What were you saying about the way he was moving and biomechanically, how he strikes you?
I love the way he moves. He's very fluid. The rider, I mean, this is a workout where the rider, all he did going around there is just take his foot off the brake pedal.
If he would have moved an inch, he would have taken off and finished so fast.
That's the exercise rider deserves a lot of credit for moves like that because the horse wants to do more. And like I said, he's just taking his foot off the brake rather than hitting the gas.
You're going to have a hard time finding an outfit that has more fun doing their jobs than Team
Let's
O'Neill.
go!
Why not us?
Why not us?
Shake and bake, brother, shake and bake.
bake.
And I know Doug's watching, and that's why I'm saying all this. I mean, he's not watching now, but he'll be watching later on the YouTube. He's probably watching Pavlovian now. But he has a horse in the Derby, and I'll tell you what, when you look at his numbers in the Derby, he's won 2. He's only sent 8. So Doug O'Neill's actually,
amazing.
he's
crazy.
He's got a pretty efficient stat line in the Kentucky Derby, and Pavlovian, looks like an outsider. He's not coming in with Nyquist or I'll have another, but you got to be in it to win it. And we know Doug O'Neill is a trainer who he's creative. He's not beholden to any one style, one thing. He'll try things, and he wins a lot of races at a big price. And the number one reason is because he puts his horses in there. He knows his horse is doing well. I'm going to go, and I'm going to give this horse a shot. And he got this horse in this race, and look, they're in it to win it.
I think he doesn't push back on his owners too much when they want to do something. Mm-hmm. You know, like, oh, we want to run here. I don't think there's a whole lot of pushback a lot of the time. I mean, some situations he will, but if somebody's qualified for the Derby and they want to go, he's not going to say, don't go. Some trainers might say, oh, I'm not going, you know, my horse is not good enough, or, you know, I want to wait for the Preakness. If the horse is right, he's going to take a shot.
But I'll tell you what, though, and this is where I think he doesn't get enough credit because he's got this gregarious personality and whatnot. But the horse that stands out to me for Doug O'Neill is Golden Sense. And I'll always, because this was a horse who won the Delta Jackpot.
Yep.
This is a horse who won the Santa Anita Derby. It's a grade 1. How many trainers do you know that have a grade 1 winner at 9 furlongs would turn them back to a sprinter? Not many.
It's a good point.
Yep.
And not only did he turn Golden Sense back into a sprinter, but then he would stretch him out back-to-back years and win the Dirt Mile and the Breeders' Cup. And I feel like, to me, that's Doug O'Neill. He doesn't have a 25% win percentage very often, right? If he does, he's just firing on all cylinders. But he'll have a 12, 13, 14. It's not because his horses aren't running. It's because he's willing to try stuff. He's like, let's take a shot. Let's see if this will work. Let's see. Because you really don't know until the horses give it a chance. And so, to me, when he comes in, Pavlovian, this is a Calbred. He's got a lot of races under his belt. They go to Sunday, say, let's see what we got. They win it. All right, let's go to Louisiana. They run second. They have a legit Derby horse. I don't know if Derby was on their mind when they had this horse in 8 consecutive Calbred races to start the career.
And ran really well in the Louisiana Derby, too. I mean, fought on. The emerging market gave him everything he had, and he was second, just beating ahead. And I think what was most important about Pavlovian, when they put Edwin Maldonado on 2 starts back in the Sunland Derby, I guarantee they put Edwin on to get speed in the horse.
Right.
Really, really good gate jockey, speed rider with Edwin aboard. And look, they changed his style. He was a horse that used to come from back. He had him right up on the pace in the Sunland Derby and then went to the lead in the Louisiana Derby.
Edwin Maldonado, and this is not hyperbole, is one of the best speed jockeys in the world, right? Because we have the best speed jockeys in the U.S., the best speed jockeys in the best speed racing, and the best speed is in California. He's top 2 in California at worst.
Yes.
I mean, he's got to be a top 5, top 10 jockey on the lead anywhere in the world. He's really that good.
One other thing, just to follow up on Doug O'Neill, think about this is the Louisiana Derby we're talking about, emerging market. This horse looked like he was going to win Pavlovian and turn it for home. But Doug's won all these races, 2 Derbies, Breeders' Cups. Guarantee you none of those horses cost more. He's never had $1 million yearling win a big race.
That's a great point, too.
It's all homebreds, $50,000 claimers with Lava Man, etc. Yeah, I mean, Look, I mean, we all like emerging markets, so by default, you kind of have to like Pavlovian, you know? I was talking to somebody yesterday, they're like, I'm downgrading emerging market because Pavlovian was so close to him. So it's, you know, you either take one side of the argument or the other.
Every argument of every circuit coming into the Derby.
Well, like you said it yesterday, Mike, with Further Ado, how people don't like him because he might have ran too fast.
Yeah.
You know?
You go with that. All right, he ran too fast. Gotcha. Here's Albus, and the question mark for Albus is he good enough, right? Was the Wood Memorial good enough? He had a maiden victory. Hats off to Riley Mott. He placed his horses well. He got them into the Derby. Incredible, looks like a legit contender. Albus, maybe not, but we've seen stranger things in the Derby.
I mean, let's be honest. He won the Wood last time out with the 83 buyer. Just strictly based off of numbers, he has to step up.
Yeah, but you have to, look, it's what I was saying about Doug O'Neill, take a shot. If your horse qualified, you have to, there is a mind that bird. There are rich strikes. It happens.
Yeah.
Every year, no. But once in a while, it does happen. So you have to take a shot. There's only one Derby.
And there's a look at Albus. Give me a, compare him to his stablemate. Incredible.
Yeah, Incredible does things a little easier. He's more on the bridle. This horse, you can just see, they're not flying down there, but
he's still, look at the exercise rider's hands. He is
still
nudging him a little bit.
Maybe a little lazier type workhorse, you know. And the further he goes, the better he goes.
Incredible to me looked more on the bridle, kind of taking him along, where Albus, you kind of have to make him do what you want. But again, for both of those horses, this is the last work. I don't think they wanted anything flashy. That work two back was the one.
Dad still wins to me watching all three of these work. Dad's horse, Bill, look tremendous.
Chief Wallaby? Yeah.
Dad wins over son right now.
Okay, good to know. Good to know where you. I mean, I like Chief Wallaby. There was so much buzz around him after the Florida Fountain of Youth. I thought there was a chance he was going to be the Derby favorite.
Yeah, that's the problem I got. Too much buzz.
Yeah. I remember being at Gulfstream when he broke his maiden first time out, and we were all in shock just because, I mean, Simon, you know how often is Bill sent out a first-time starter that wins like that, going 7/8 first time.
Let's take a look at Intrepido, also coming in from California. He had to wait a little bit to see if he got into the body of the race, and he did. As Jeff Mullins, he's been here before. He won 3 consecutive Santa Anita Derbies back in the aughts, and then he had this horse win the American Pharoah. As a 3-year-old, he hasn't quite taken that leap forward we were hoping for. He's 50-1 on the morning line, but I do think the talent is there.
Yeah, he's just, like you said, I want to see him improve, show what he showed at 2 in his 3-year-old year. His numbers have kind of just stayed the same. I think he's just made a lateral move into his 3-year-old. Is he good enough to win here? I'm not so sure it is.
Yeah, I mean, his top buyers at 89 and the Bob Lewis back on February 7th, but he was a horse, I mean, he was such a precocious 2-year-old. He broke his maiden in his 2nd career start, and in his 3rd career start won the Grade 1 American Pharoah, and then was 5th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. They gave him some time off, and he just hasn't really, I don't think he's gotten to where they thought he was as a 2-year-old.
The 2 toughest races on his resume, he's been beaten 10 lengths. When the competition gets a little tougher, it's a little telling for him.
He was awesome in the American Pharoah, though, at Santa Anita. So you got to think that's a hint of a horse who has ability. But sometimes those horses who win those 2-year-old stakes, they just develop the quickest. They don't develop the most.
Right. I mean, he's beaten Desert Gate. I always say the best thing about past performances is the advent of time. You get to look back. He's beaten Desert Gate and Plutarch. They would be 100-1 in here.
It's a good point.
And there's a look at Intrepido with his final work prior to the Kentucky Derby. Let's get back to the backstretch with Andy Biancone.
Dazzling Dame hit the track today under assistant Emma Wolf, and oh my gosh, she's got a big smile on her face because she did an excellent job handling this filly. She looked extremely strong. She's just got a big step. She's a big filly with a big stride. You can see a piece of equipment she's wearing. It's called a German martingale, and that's going to give Emma just a little more breaks, but it's attached at the yoke and then slides through the rings in the ring bit and attaches to the ring. And that just helps her keep her head in an appropriate spot and obviously gives Emma a little extra breaks. But she did a fabulous job with the Brittany Russell trainee. The Dazzling Dame certainly looked energetic and beautiful on the track today.
I mean, this is a filly who was running off the screen in the Basanda, and then in the Virginia Oaks, she came up short to Bottle of Rouge. But, yeah, she is quite the specimen. What do you say, the Italian astronaut? A specimen.
Spaceman, Italian astronaut.
I've never heard that. I like that.
You haven't hung around Simon enough, because I hear it about 6 times a month. At any rate, let's take a look at last year's Kentucky Derby winner, Sovereignty. You'll not find a more beautiful horse in training than the Kentucky Derby winner and reigning horse of the year, as he does get the yellow saddle towel. He's got... It's like the Masters, right? Once you win it, you can keep coming back. He gets to train at the same time as the Derby contenders this year.
You can only walk around Augusta in a green jacket if you've earned it year after year, even if it was 20 years ago. That's what Sovereignty... I love this. I love they've kept him in training. This is great for the fans. And I don't know whether, Bill went to Churchill and said, I want to go out with the Derby horses and put the saddle towel on, but it's great. I mean, it's great from a trainer's point of view. You get a fresh track, quiet track. So he's pointing to the Stephen Foster, which will be run here in June. Another matchup with White Abarrio planned for that day.
Look how good he looks.
Yeah. How about that matchup? We're going to see the Breeders' Cup Classic run 3 times before November.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's awesome, really. And Sovereignty, he was bested by White Abarrio on that day, but I think everyone has questions about whether or not White Abarrio could beat him twice. Can Sovereignty take another step forward in his second start as a 4-year-old? And also, he's going to be running out of his stall because he's based here at Churchill Downs.
Correct.
I think that's a major advantage.
Well, I think that race under his belt, too. I mean, think about that. He had not had a race, since the track.
And he's a big horse.
And, yeah. So and there's nothing. I don't care how many times you work a horse, how fast you work him. There's no fitness like race fitness.
No, one race is worth 5 works, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. Honestly, they should put him in textbooks. This is what a racehorse looks like. Let's start talking about some of those Japanese contenders.
Danone Bourbon. I checked with Larry yesterday.
Danone. That's why I didn't say it.
Yes, I knew where you were going. That's why I jumped in.
Because I was hearing Dannon, and it's not yogurt.
Dannon's the yes. We had that conversation on the set yesterday. Dannon's tumbler. Danone Bourbon, and I mean, you can't leave him out.
Yeah.
Have you seen his... I've seen one of his races on tape, and the last time out in the Fukuru. I mean, he pulls away from his competition. He's got a true American pedigree, top and bottom, bred to love the distance.
And as far as fitness, I know he only has 3 career starts, but look at the distances he's run at. A mile and an eighth on a muddy track in his first career start, he wins by 10. Then comes back a mile and 3/16, wins by 5, and another one a mile and an eighth in the mud, wins by 3.5.
They're testing racetracks in Japan, Joe. It's not like a tight oval where you're just turning left the whole time. I mean, that you run a mile and an eighth, it rides like probably a mile and a quarter.
Yes, I don't think distance is going to be a problem at all. What does he beat? We don't really know, but I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong. Perfect 3 for 3.
The problem is he wins a maiden by 10 at Kyoto. He wins an allowance by 5 at Kyoto. Then he goes to Nakayama and he wins the prep race there, the Fukuryu Stakes, which begs the question, what the fuck are you going to do about that Japanese form?
Oh, I love that, Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Joyce.
I was expecting an answer. What are you going to do about that Japanese form? Maybe Caton can answer the question.
Well, just an aside, we're still waiting. Bill Mott just got back from the track with Sovereignty, and Junior is still aboard Chief Wallaby as he's walking the barn area, so we'll catch up with them in a minute. But I'm wondering if this information might change your opinion on the horse you were speaking of. He was out on the track for the first time, I believe, yesterday at Churchill, and twice bolted badly on the backstretch by the gap. In all fairness, it was his first time out at Churchill, I believe, but he was very erratic, very difficult to handle down the backstretch, and he actually bolted down to the rail, causing a little bit of interference right as Kenny McPeak's set was starting their Derby prep workout. Right to party. They actually had to wait just an instant as he got off the rail. So I don't know. I'm just a little concerned about how he is in terms of adjusting to being here in the United States and with all the differences between his home and Japan as far as racing is concerned. I'm not sure if that changes your guys' opinion at all.
Well, I wish we had a camera on that. That's great insight, Caton. Thank you very much for letting us know. But I mean, that's the kind of thing you hope they can work out mentally with this horse this week, you know, getting him used to this environment.
Yeah, that's this is a horse that we, having heard that information, we now to keep a camera on him from now until the Derby, because, you know, a lot of horses, you know, on a regular day here domestically, they're shipping right on top of the race. He's got 4 or 5 days to do it. And a lot of it, as we look at the Japanese contenders in the Kentucky Derby and how they're fed Forever Young, the best, of course, they're not used to this. Horses coming at them, jogging at them. I mean, it's a very overwhelming prospect for a young horse, so we'll see.
Look at this. Luxor Cafe hasn't done much, but Forever Young might be the best horse in the world. Dermasotogake is a tremendous animal. I think people forget just how good he is, and he took his form all over the planet. You're right. It is only a matter of time before the Japanese do it. And once again, there is an argument to be made, and I actually buy into this argument, that the best horses in the world right now are in Japan. As we take a look at 6-Speed. So 6-Speed is in the 17 post. It's the only post with 0 Kentucky Derby winners. The only post with 0 Kentucky Derby winners. I don't know if that really holds up with 17. At some point, there's going to be a Derby winner from there. But this was a horse who was second in the UAE Derby and winner of the 2000 Guineas at Meydan in January.
Rupert Seymour trains this horse. And he's a former, worked for Bob Baffert for some years. He worked for TaylorMade. He's been in Dubai about 22 years. Worked for Satish, was his uncle, I believe. We went to his barn out there, which is no longer.
Yeah, Zidane Racing, or not, was it?
Zabeel.
Zabeel, sorry.
No longer in existence. It's been shut down, so he's moved elsewhere, but he's very familiar with how to train in the U.S.
Remember Burnham Square last year? How he galloped kind of like that with his head bowed down?
So what's on his chest there? It looks like he's got a cravat.
Yeah, he's got a sheepskin cover underneath on the martingale. He's got it on the breastplate too. That's the strap that goes around, and on the reins. And it's to prevent all that leather rubbing on the horse and causing, you know, it can get sore.
I think it slid though, huh,
yeah,
Simon?
It slid.
It's supposed to be more up on his chest.
It's meant to attach. You see, if the martingale's too tight, the strap from underneath the girth to the rings, it can rub on a horse's chest and cause, you know, some burn. So that's all that's for. And then he's got a hood on, I think. Yeah. To just cover his ears, probably help with the sound. They're not blinkers, right? It's just a hood, yeah. So I think he's got a hood on just to nullify the sound and stuff around him. But he bows his head. He uses himself well. That's what you like as a rider. You want the horse to bow their head, because the minute it comes up past horizontal, a horse's head, it puts you in a precarious position as a rider.
Hard to control.
You lose a lot of control. You just, you know, you got a lot of slack in the reins. When you're bowed like that, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, it looks like
you got something to pull against.
Yeah, seriously, and he's pulling all right.
Those biceps are going to be sore.
Yeah, and when horses bow their heads, it makes them use their hind end a lot better.
Right.
You want a horse to push, not pull. If you understand what I'm saying, you want them to push, exert energy from the back end rather than like reach and grab.
To the untrained eye, this looks very unconventional. So it's good to know what they're going for here.
I like horses when they gallop like that. That's why. You saw that Oaks Contender in a German martingale. It's a lighter version of draw reins, and that's the whole idea, to keep the horse's head bowed and help the exercise rider.
So there is 6-Speed in from Dubai for Rupert Seymour. As we go now to Andy Biancone.
Well, 6-Speed was a convincing winner last time out of the 2000 Guineas for Rupert Seymour. Rupert, how does it feel to be back in the Bluegrass? And tell us a little bit about 6-Speed.
6-Speed, he's a perfect horse to travel. He's loved it, actually. He's got a lot of air miles. You know, he was bought in the U.S. Then he went to Ireland. Then he went to England. That's where we bought him. Came to Dubai, went back to England, and has been here. So he's got plenty of air miles. He's a very good traveler, so which is a good thing.
What are your thoughts about post position 17, given his speed?
Yeah, we really didn't want to be on the inside and get pressurized. So I think we're on the outside of speed. So I think this is good for him. Like I said, I think authentic one from 20. So we're 17 with 3 inside.
Well, Bubet, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background as well. I know a long time ago you were an assistant for trainer Bob Baffert. How does it feel to be back in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been coming here every year for the last, I think, 6-7 years now. We had a horse here 4 years ago. I mean, this feels like home almost. You know, I was with TaylorMade Farms, and then I went to Bob Baffert, and you know, I spent some good days of my youth over here. And then I've been in Dubai for 22 years, and Dubai's home now, and it's great to be back and visiting here.
Well, it's great to have you back. Best of luck to you and the team with 6-Speed.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, that was yesterday at the draw. I was at the draw yesterday, and it was the Derby draw. I mean, there were so many cameras and a huge crowd there on the patio right above the paddock. It's definitely set the stage and got your juices flowing for the Derby. As we have a chance now, we've got the times from those works earlier today. These are the official clockings that we've received. Let's take a look at them. And Simon, what jumps out at you here?
Well, there's one work in particular that Joe and I, we had to kind of double check and make sure it was correct. The time on Potente, Joe, was unbelievable.
I'm shocked. 57-4 out in 110-2.
And he didn't look like he was trying that hard.
No,
Another one who did it quite easily.
I mean, that's race time.
I was going to say.
That's race time.
Yeah.
But didn't we see the same thing last year with Citizen Bull and Martin Garcia?
But I will say, back to what we've said all week, watching it, I would never have said he went 57-4. That's why we were so surprised that time. You know, you watch the tape and you think, oh, he's going easy, but 57-4? That will probably get the bullet work of the day by far.
Oh, yeah, 110.
And I also feel like last year when Citizen Bull worked, we knew he was going fast. It was obvious he was going too fast.
He looked aggressive.
Yeah. But what are the other times, too, in there?
Let me just check the old Textasso line here. Incredibolt, 12-3, 24-47, so he went off slow. He finished 59-4, Incredibolt.
Yeah, he looked really good.
Out in 113-4. Intrepido, 11-3, 22, and then he was 45 for the half, 57. Wow. Are these times right? The track must be fast.
That's crazy. 57-4.
Out in 110, Intrepido, he didn't look like he was going that fast.
No, not at all.
That's remarkable to me.
How did we ever do television without iPhones? You know, there was a time where we did television without iPhones, Joe.
And then
there's no way, Mike.
The flip side of the story, Pavlovian 103-2, so slow. And I'll still give this the work of the day. Chief Wallaby, I know it was slow, but knowing Bill Mott's program, he would have said, I guarantee, if you go back to his barn after and say, what was the plan? And he'd go anywhere between 101 and 102.
Right.
It's standard operating procedure, the last work.
Chief Wallaby.
There you go.
Is he going to be the buzz? Or do you think he's going to be the wise guy horse, or do you think it's going to be the full effort?
Both of them, but more with Chief Wallaby, I think. Because I think the Mott factor goes a long way with last year's Derby. I think, you know, the average player that plays once or twice a year on these big days, they know Bill Mott now, the story behind Sovereignty last year, and they gravitate to that, I think.
Let's go to Andy Biancone.
Well, Grade 1 winning Percy's Bar shipped in from Keeneland for Ben Colebrook in perfect order. Tell us what she did today.
She just jogged twice around. She'll gallop tomorrow and probably jog the next day and then gallop. She'll probably have 2 gallops over here, go to the gate one day and go to the paddock a couple times probably.
Overall, what would you say she was like today?
She had good energy. You know, she was happy. She loves people, so she was looking around at everybody and just kind of enjoying it. I think she looked like she's fresh and ready to go.
Is she going to gate school at all?
Yeah, she'll go to the gate once and stand.
Awesome. And just easy going. I mean, her last work looked phenomenal at Keeneland.
Yeah, I finally was able to slow her down a little bit, so she had an easy work. That's all she needed. And, no, she's good to go.
She does look keen in her works, but is she keen to gallop at all, or is she quite kind?
Easy. She's kind. Just Luan's the only person who's ever worked her, so when he gets up, she kind of knows it's go time.
Horses are smart. They know their riders. Ben, thank you so much. You look great.
Thank you.
There's a look at Golden Tempo out on the track earlier today. As we see the runner from the Cherie Devaux barn. Cherie would be the first female trainer to ever win the Kentucky Derby, should Golden Tempo take another step forward and find himself in the winner's circle. We're going to take a break. When we return, we'll have more works, more analysis, and more fun here. It's Breakfast at the Derby live from Churchill Downs.
The Derby is considered probably the most prestigious race in the entire world.
It's one race everybody in the country knows about. It's the first race somebody asks you if you won.
The ride in the Kentucky Derby is it's our dream. I mean, it's a dream come true.
The build-up is phenomenal. That's kind of what horse racing is all about.
200,000 people there in the grandstands, and they're all there just to watch that one race.
You can feel it in the air, man. I mean, it's different.
The Kentucky Derby is probably the most difficult race to get a mount in. There's only 20 positions available.
Of course, it's 3-year-olds. You only get one chance at it.
That first quarter mile, the race down to the first turn, fast and furious.
There's a lot of jostling going around.
Everything's going through your mind. Position, are we going to get lucky today?
It's an amazing feeling. You know, it's reaching the pinnacle of our profession.
The noise almost knocks you off the horse.
Justify has won the Kentucky Derby!
This is the reason that we get up every morning to participate in this one race a year.
And, you know, you hear from Mike Smith, and yeah, he's got his 2 Derby victories now, but think about how long it was and just the sense of relief it was when Giacomo crossed the wire first. A Hall of Famer like that, it's hard for him to find the Derby victory, right? I mean, you really get the sense. There's only one Derby every year. There's only 20 horses in the gate. And, you know, you think about how hard it is for any trainer, any owner, any jockey just to get there and then to have a victory. It really is one of the toughest mountains to climb in sports.
I think in recent memory, Javier Castellano before Mage. I mean, it took him, I forgot how long, had long streak that just couldn't get it done.
Well, think about that. Javier Castellano got inducted into the Hall of Fame before he won the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there. At any rate, we saw Golden Tempo when we were going to break. Golden Tempo on the track earlier today for a gallop. We saw him put in his last work at Keeneland. Cherie Devaux kind of keying us in onto what's going on in the camp there and what they think. And look, this is a good horse. Hasn't quite cracked the top tier of 3-year-olds, but has been right there in all those races in Louisiana. And Golden Tempo, 30-1 on the morning line, and like we said, Cherie Devaux trying to become the first female trainer to win the Derby.
Yeah, he took the Louisiana route. He won the Grade 3 Lecomte just in his second career start off a 6-furlong maiden victory down there. Then was third in the Risen Star, third in the Louisiana Derby. They tried blinkers on him in the Louisiana Derby. It didn't really do too much speed-wise. He still came from behind. And I think we saw that replay yesterday, Simon. It's still maybe a little green, kind of ended up. He was in the 5-path, ended up on the rail, but still an improving horse. Another one in all 4 career starts has improved his buyer.
Yeah, I mean, and Cherie Devaux, as kind of Mike alluded to, that she elected to do all her work over at Keeneland. She's had success doing that. Not treating this race like any other as far as preparation. Something that's been successful for her. Obviously, she had to come over a little earlier than a regular race day, but yeah, I think he's got to improve. I think he's up against it as far as what we've seen these last couple of races.
So we're going to go to Andy Biancone, and I will warn you, this is not the backstretch. This is the draw yesterday. Sorry if I misled you earlier when she was interviewing Boopet, but here she is with Cherie Devaux at yesterday's post position draw.
Well, the Grade 3 Lecomte winner, Golden Tempo, draws post position 19 for Cherie Devaux. Cherie, this is your first Derby runner and a chance to make history. If you pull this win off, you'll be the first female trainer to have a win in the Kentucky Derby. Do you feel the weight of history riding on your shoulders a little bit?
I try not to. Honestly, I know there's a lot in being a female in this industry. To me, it's just kind of, it just is what it is. I don't really make much of it, but I did say in the beginning of my career that the only thing that I would like to do as a female is win the Kentucky Derby. So I'm trying to keep everything in perspective and not think too much of it and just try to enjoy the week.
You posted a picture online the other day of yourself galloping under the Twin Spires about 20 years ago. I mean, just reflecting on your career from that moment to where you stand today with your first Derby runner, what does it feel like?
I don't know. Definitely grateful. Gonna try not to get emotional for the first time in my life on TV. It's fun to be back here. I never would have imagined back then that my life would have taken me to where it is today. I'm so thankful for everyone along the way, the lessons I learned along the way, and just, my husband David, who's been my biggest supporter in this journey and being a trainer, and really is the reason why I'm here. So, in awe, honestly.
Well, Cherie, you truly are a role model to myself and to a lot of girls in this industry, but thank you for what you do and best of luck to you and your team. I hope you are so proud of yourself and everyone around you.
Thank you so much.
There have been very few trainers that have gone from assistant opening their stable to the highest levels of the sport as Cherie Devaux has, as quickly as she has done it. I mean, it was remarkable that she was competing in grade ones and getting horses of that caliber to that level that quickly.
Yeah, and it wasn't overnight. I mean, look, it's pretty quickly, but it wasn't like she started with a barn of 50. It was small the first year. If you look at her numbers year after year, it's just incremental improvement, which I like a lot. The quality of horses have got better, and she knows what she's doing.
And not only that, it doesn't have to be like a turf horse or a dirt horse. She's done well with anything.
Yeah, and she's got the experience having working for Chad Brown. I'll never forget my last trip to Belmont Park. I was there and I went to interview her when she was assistant for trainer Chad Brown, and she was in an auxiliary barn. And I said, "Can we walk down the shed row?" And she goes, "Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's 25 stalls in here, and every single one of them is a stakes horse. We call this our stakes barn, and I'm in charge of it." So she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Like all overnight successes in horse racing, it took 30 years.
Yeah.
Let's start talking Oaks, right? As they drew both cards, we have both cards available on the Daily Racing Forum for you to take a look at the past performances. I'm sure all of you have already done so if you're watching this show. Zany installed as the 4-1 morning line favorite. Michael McCarthy with a pair of very nice horses. He's got Brooklyn Blonde and then, of course, Meaning, the horse from California.
Yeah, they're coming out of efforts in the Santa Anita Oaks. And again, I mean, maybe some odds discrepancy here. Meaning 5-1 is the winner. Brooklyn Blonde 30-1. She was only a couple of lengths behind us.
I didn't think she was going to be that high.
No, I didn't think she was going to be that high. She's got the outside post here for owner Sunkist Stablers and Bobby Flay, but she's by Gunrunner, Brooklyn Blonde, out of a Henny Hughes mare. So Zany to the inside, going to be the favorite, as expected, for trainer Todd Pletcher, coming off a second-place finish in the Ashland. What price is Percy's Bar? 6-1.
6-1.
Let's talk about Bottle of Rouge, because she's a very interesting horse for Jill Baffert. Now, when she won the Del Mar Debutante, it was a great reminder that even at the level of Bob Baffert, nobody takes winning for granted. No matter how much you've won before, it's not easy to get to the winner's circle. And just the joy and relief they felt with that grade 1 victory for Bottle of Rouge as a 2-year-old. And as a 3-year-old, she's been perfect. 2 for 2 in the Sunland Park Oaks and the Virginia Oaks. And here's a look at her. And obviously you can see which one is she. She's on the inside. She's a beautiful looking gray daughter of Vino Rosso.
She's actually got better. She's made that improvement from 2 to 3. And when you look at her pedigree, it's no surprise. She's by Vino Rosso out of a bluegrass catman. Whatever she did at 2, she was bred and designed to be better at 3. She showed it. Not a good race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Field. Something was amiss there because she beat Explorer in the start before that. Here she is down on the inside. She's having to be asked here a little bit to finish up with a stablemate, but I mean, she comes in on a race record, looks pretty good.
And was only purchased for $100,000 too. She's made $577,000.
Yep. House horse for trainer Bob Baffert, owned by wife Jill, named after a Harry Styles song. Jill, big Harry Styles fan. And this is named after one of Harry Styles' song. I know, Joe, you listen to it quite a lot on the way in the morning.
I never heard that one, actually.
No, me neither.
Where's Kurt Hoover when you need pop music trivia?
Yep.
Let's get to Zany for Todd Pletcher, the morning line favorite, also owned by Mike Rapoli's Rapoli Stable. Was second to Percy's Bar in the Ashland, and that was the first time this filly had ever tasted defeat.
This is why I don't quite understand. Zany's favored over Percy's Bar.
I kind of thought the same thing.
You know, and Percy's Bar kind of beat this horse fair and square at least.
Yeah, I thought she had a no excuse second in the Ashland at Keeneland.
Just for a gallop. No, she's going to work, right? Yeah.
And
no, galloping. Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. We got time to get it right. We'll fix it in post. Yeah, 4-1 morning line favorite, but she has been very good. From the bottom up, she wins her maiden by 6. She wins the Demoiselle by 8.5. They put her to the sideline, bring her back in the Suncoast. She wins by 2.5. And then they go for the grade 1 Ashland. She was pennies on the dollar, favored that day, finished second to a very game Percy's Bar, but she was 3.5 lengths clear of the third-place finisher. She's done nothing wrong. I think she may have run into a better horse last time out, but that's about it.
Yeah, and she's, third start in the form cycle. Maybe that has something to do with it, but yeah, she looks good. Just very easy to gallop here. She listens to the rider's cues. Look at her ear. Look at her ears, Joe.
Perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. She's big too.
Yeah.
She's a nice-looking filly for certain. By the Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh out of an Uncle Mo mare Mo Green. Well, we were spotting Brooklyn Blonde earlier today on the racetrack as this filly, the runner-up in the Santa Anita Oaks. Off a maiden victory to be second in the Santa Anita Oaks. She's 30-1 on the morning line, but I have a feeling she's going to run better than a 30-1 shot.
I think so, too. I have a feeling she is. And here's the one thing. Hey, look, gun runners, it's pretty obvious. The further they go, the better they go.
The older they get, the better they are.
It's not, we're not, you know, breaking news here, but we saw it with Super Corridoria last year. She was beaten twice sprinting, and as soon as they sent along, boom, maiden, Breeders' Cup, juvenile. This filly's the same. Look at her 2 starts since they sent her along. She's much better. She broke a maiden, and then she came back and she was second to maiden. She's still lightly raced like a lot of these fillies, but I think she's heading in the direction. Put it this way, at 30-1, she absolutely has a chance to finish, I think, in the top 4.
And she's another one. I mean, if you look at her debut as a 2-year-old, was 7th being 14 lengths with the 48 buyer. As a 3-year-old, has been the complete opposite, 71, 79, and an 82 buyer running second.
Yeah, and that debut race, she was bet down to a short price for a Michael McCarthy runner into a maiden special weight at Del Mar, which typically Baffert is the top 2 betting choice. She went to the sidelines for a while after that, so something clearly amiss. She's got talent, or at least the Barnes, I think, thought she had talent for quite some time. So I think she's a good price at 30-1.
We also have Lovely Gray on the track for Kelsey Danner. She's on the AE. She's also cross-entered in the Edgewood as we take a look at Lovely Gray. And she is obviously a gray, hence the name. This filly by Vacoma has been tremendous. She's only run on the dirt once. Broke her maiden on the turf. She won the Bourbonette, or she was second in the Bourbonette Oaks to Lorelei Lee on the synthetic at Turfway Park. But she seems to get over the dirt just fine.
She's a handful right now.
Yeah, compared to Zany. We just saw Zany for Pletcher, like, you know, hobby horsing around there. This horse, very aggressive. And it's kind of surprising because you don't see it in her running style.
No, none at all.
Yeah. Wherever she runs, this filly is going to be a much shorter price than she probably should, and that's because of all the stoolies, right? The bar stool, this is Dave Portnoy's horse, Go-Go Grays. They've got a lot of it. It's kind of like the My Racehorse effect. There's going to, from a betting standpoint, this horse is always going to get some play. But yeah, she looks aggressive to gallop in the morning. And again, it goes against her running style. She's not an aggressive filly in the afternoon.
I'm kind of surprised seeing that.
So let me ask you about the pedigree. By Vacoma out of Unbridled Song, even though she's done most of her damage on the turf and the synthetic, doesn't that pedigree scream dirt? And it screams... I mean, I think she's got a tremendous shot if she were to make it in the body of this race based on the pedigree. I don't know what her accomplishments on the racetrack say.
Yeah, I mean, just on pedigree, she's the full effect of the Oaks, right? I mean, she's done turf and synthetic. She's a gray, but hopefully she doesn't leave a race. You don't want to. Yeah, this rider here is just trying to get her slowed down.
Water scan.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem with this, Mike, the pony's going to pick. When you're trying to slow a horse down like that, I mean, the idea is to kind of pull on each side of the rein, but you don't want to pull them around too much because that's when they can hit themselves.
Oh yeah.
Pull a shoe off. You've kind of got to get a gradual slow down. You got to, come down slowly rather than just to an aggressive, jerk in the head and getting them to stop.
Come down slowly to pull my shoes off. Yeah, that's what I had to do before I lost all this weight. Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Well, Incredible and Albus both had their final works for trainer Riley Mott. Riley, very different works from these two. Incredible you had tracking his workmate. What were your impressions from that work, and what made you decide to have him tracking?
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent workout. I mean, he the pace was very good. The boys did a good job, the first quarter mile, which is probably the most important part of the work. So they set off, at a decent pace, and Incredible just tracked. I compare him to like a race car. He's just always at your fingertips and accelerates. When you open up your hands a little bit, and that's what he did. I mean, it looked like he was cruising down the lane with his ears pricked, and Jaime was sitting still on him, and he galloped out well, which he generally does. And looked like, it was 47 out 59 and 4, but he did it like definitely the right way. So not concerned with, a little bit of a quick time or anything like that.
He looks great cooling out in the shed row as well.
Yeah, I mean, Jaime said, the horse wasn't even blowing when he pulled up. I mean, the horse is tight, he's fit, he likes his track. So, gives you a lot of confidence, just given he comes out well and trains up well to Saturday.
Albus worked on the inside of his company horse. Walk everybody through, deciding the decision to put him on the inside of horse versus outside.
Yeah, so he's definitely a different type of horse, different running style. They work differently. Albus, he's more of a workman-like type of horse. He's a bit of a grinder, doesn't necessarily have that turn of foot like Incredible does. So a lot of times we'll put him down on the inside just so he doesn't have to do too much to make up, the ground on his workmate. We've worked him several times in that manner, and he does well. And, he galloped out well today. It was 49-1, out 102 in a couple, which is, a standard type of work for him, and that's all we were looking for.
How do you feel like he's cooling out?
Really good. Both horses jogged up well. They're not blowing really at all. So I'm confident in, both horses' fitness and how they're coming into the race. And like I said, hopefully they have a good week from here on out.
What will the rest of the week look like for Incredible and Albus?
Just very simple. Keep it simple. We're not going to do anything to, try to win or lose the race. 1 week out, I think, most of the work is done. It's just my job and our team's job to keep the horses happy and healthy.
Well, Riley, I can't applaud you and your team enough. You certainly have done an excellent job, and please enjoy this first Derby. I know this is very special to have your wife, Megan, here, your boys, your whole family, and obviously your father just a little while away, so enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It's just so uncanny how much we got to have them sitting right next to each other doing interviews. I mean, it's crazy.
Got to have a contest. Close your eyes and guess who's talking.
Riley or Bill, Bill or Riley.
Could you imagine, though, your first Derby start, you have two?
Right.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He learned from the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why didn't that work for you, Simon?
Yeah, unfortunately, when I ran in the Derby, Joe, they didn't have enough numbers on the tote board. I was 100-1. No joke. Go back and look at it. It said 99-1, and I actually went off pari-mutually at 108-1.
Well, what horse was that?
StarTac.
That was StarTac, right.
Second fastest Derby of all time.
And not because of you.
Nope.
Let's go to Kate and Bradar.
Well, the last pre-Derby work out of the way for Chief Wallaby, and Bill, 13-1, 25-2, 49-1, 101-4, and according to the clockers, galloping out in 115-1.
Good, nice work. I mean, I was happy with the half. I was by the wire when he came by, and Junior had a nice hold of him. He had never moved, so he's, he was taking him along the whole way. And I'd asked, we had a good solid work last week, and I just had asked for, 49, and we got 49-1. So you can't ask for much better than that.
You're making an equipment change, putting the blinkers on, and he was wearing blinkers today. Do you think that's part of the reason that he was a little bit more in the bridle, or is that just the way he's going?
I think it might help him a little bit. I mean, it might put him a little more forward, and it doesn't seem to make him rank, but it seems to, keep his mind on business.
Bill, this is a very different approach and a different horse than Sovereignty was at this time coming into the race last year. What did he show you along the way that convinced you to continue on and that gives you confidence now?
Well, it wasn't until his second race. And, he broke his maiden in very fashionable style. He looked really good, finished up well, beat a nice horse, beat the Puma in a maiden race. And, we were at the time, I'm walking away from the winner's circle thinking, well, maybe he's a horse for the Pat Day Mile, just knowing that we'd won going 7 furlongs. And looked like he galloped out good. And I said, well, looks like he'll get a mile. And, he's kind of got the body style of a miler. You could see it. I mean, he's strong enough and looks fast enough. But we went down the road. I gave him 6 weeks in between races because he'd run hard the first time. And looking for another race, maybe an allowance race, somewhere to run him back. And nothing came up. The races didn't fill. We had him nominated for the Fountain Youth, and we said, well, let's take a shot and just run him in here. It's 2 turns, and we'll just see what happens. We looked at the field, and we thought, it was, not a race that was, deep all the way through. We thought, naturally some nice horses, but we thought, go ahead and run and see where we're at. And he nearly won the race. I mean, he had a little bit of a wide trip and finished a very good second, galloped out good once again, and of course that led us into running in the Florida Derby.
He's certainly a horse who has taken you each step of the way. I've got to ask, because when you come out on the track during that Derby time, you're not only focusing on your current Derby contender, but you're also leading the reigning Derby winner. What is that like?
Well, we're pretty proud of it. Pretty proud of having sovereignty, and it's nice that they let us train during that quiet time on the racetrack when there's fewer horses. So, and I think everybody actually kind of enjoys seeing him. I mean, how often do you get a Derby winner back and get to see him every day? And he's turned into really a magnificent horse. He always has been, but he's more this year than even last year. And it's nice to take him out there and watch what's going on with Chief Wallaby and lead him around. So.
Fans can take heart in the idea that the next stop might be here at Churchill Downs for sovereignty.
We're definitely thinking of the Stephen Foster. It's I believe it's on June 28th. It's a good time in between races, but I don't really think there's anything in between that fits our schedule. And that would be one of the major races on his dance card.
Well, and finally, given all that's going on, I think it should give you great confidence and satisfaction to know that Simon Bray has given Chief Wallaby the work of the day and maybe the work of the Derby preps.
Oh, really? Today?
Today. He said today.
Well, thank you, Simon. I'll pay you later.
I'm sure he'll find you for that, too.
Okay.
He probably still has your 1099 from when you were his assistant.
Exactly.
I think it'll be quite easy. Man.
I like that throwback Derby jacket he had on.
Wow. Might have been the first TVG Derby jacket ever made. I think it's from the 128th Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, now I want him to sign that thing, and I'll take it. That's going to be in the museum.
He's got the best horse in the world. He's wearing a 28-year-old rain slicker, and he stole his son's barn hat.
We'd get along so good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, tremendous. But it is, I mean, how appropriately named is Sovereignty, though, is
right.
We have all the young whippersnappers going for their Derby glory, and here he is just lording over them in the morning. It's tremendous.
I'm glad to hear what he said. You know, he would be happy that they allowed him to train from a trainer standpoint.
Yeah.
Because there's too much going on out here for a horse like that valuable to something go wrong.
You know what's great, too? I know people were surprised, myself, too, that he was in front in the Oaklawn handicap. I think that's a positive, knowing that if there's a race where there's absolutely no pace, he's able to still run a winning race to be in front, even though he hasn't done that before.
Well, I think people think of him as a 10-furlong horse, but they forget about the fact that he has a very high cruising speed.
Yeah.
And he can clip off some decent fractions in the interior of a race without expending himself.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely a positive, and that was off such a long layoff, too.
Such a long way. Let's once again go to Andy Biancone.
Well, jockey Jaime Torres just had a lovely work aboard. Incredible. Describe the work a little bit. I saw you tracking your workmate, and honestly, very good time, 47 and some.
Yeah, that's what we done with him all the time. Riley just told me just do the same thing we have done to get here, and yeah, I just kept tracking the other horse, and the quarter pole tried to put a head in head, and he said if after the 8 pole he wants to keep like going by himself, just let him go, and yeah, he did it so easy.
Has he taken forward steps from the beginning of his career to now?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, I would say like he's a lot more mature. He knows what his job is, and he's confident. His confidence is what gives me a lot more confidence. You see in the gallop out the way he put his ears up, and yeah, I just love it.
Obviously, tough decisions had to be made for you. You won the Virginia Derby aboard Incredible, but you also won the Wood Memorial aboard Albus for Riley Mott. What led you to the decision to choose Incredible?
I think the way that the way he ran here, he likes Churchill. He ran twice, won both, and I mean the acceleration he gave me in Colonial in Virginia, it was impressive.
Was it a tough decision for you?
It was. I love both of them. I mean, I see Albus that I'm not on him, and I am like, I want to ride them both, but I can't. So, very happy that Manny Franco is on him. Manny rode the first Derby I watched in the 2020, and Manny for me is like an example, someone I want to follow.
Well, Jaime Torres, already a Preakness-winning jockey. Good luck this year in the Derby, Jaime, and enjoy every moment.
Thank you.
Like I said, I was behind them during the draw, and they were ecstatic with the draw they got for Incredible.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
Should be delighted. I mean, what a story for him. He's already won a Preakness. Now got a live shot at the Derby.
Just need to get that Derby in Belmont now. And I love that work, too, by Incredible today. I thought that was another one went 59-4. Didn't look like
Could
it
the
at
track
all.
be fast, though? Is that's got to
Oh,
play
it
in
very
there.
well could be.
Yeah.
Let's check in once again with Caton.
Okay, Mark Casse with Silent Tactic. How's all well today?
Great. Galloped a mile and a half, went to the gate. All systems are go.
And post position 13, can that be, do you look at it
13.
lucky, unlucky?
I look at it lucky. Great spot, as far as where he's going to be. I wasn't overly concerned about the post with him. He's going to come away from there, probably show a little something so he's not last. But he's going to tuck over, save some ground, and hopefully come with a run about the 5/16 pole.
Switching to the Oaks, 2 is always better than 1. In this case, you've got Search Party and Counting Stars side by side in the starting gate. That's something I know most trainers do not like.
Oh, I like it. I can see them both break and watch them at the same time. I'm not worried about that. I think that's a great post for Counting Stars. Really didn't matter for Search Party. She's going to drop out the back and try to come with a run. More importantly for her, she needs some pace. Looks like there is some pace in there. I see Counting Stars maybe laying just right off of that pace.
When I watch Counting Stars in terms of her training, she seems to be a filly who's maybe flourishing at just the right time.
She's never been better.
All needs to be said. Best of luck that it stays that way.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Mark, just stop running into horses, man. That's the second time.
I know, right?
Yeah. The guy's won 4,000 races. He doesn't know where the horses are. Just kidding. Mark Casse, one of the greatest trainers to throw a saddle over a horse. Let's check in with Scott Hazelton.
We've been camped out here at the Bob Baffert barn all morning and waiting to speak to Bob Baffert. He's obviously got a lot going on. He's got a barn full of horses here that have become training. Just had a horse that he brought out to take a look at with some folks. So we're waiting to hear his thoughts on Potente, but that's really been the buzz of the morning out here on the backside is how well this horse worked. Martin Garcia was aboard. Martin, we've had a chat with him. He was glowing about the way that he got over the track. So, gentlemen, we're really looking forward to getting Bob Baffert's thoughts on how Potente worked and how easy he did it in such a very fast time.
It's been the theme of this morning is the fast times and how easily these horses did it, but Potente is certainly the picture of that.
Well, a couple of things to take away. Good horses work fast and they work well.
Yes.
So I think you're dealing with 20 animals here that are the best out of a 16,000 foal crop. So you're going to see good works. But I do think the track is probably on the little quicker side. When you see 2, 3, 4 horses do that, and they don't look like they're going that fast, you have to assume the surface is pretty quick.
Even Intrepido's work didn't look that quick.
No.
And he went, what, 57 and
That
change
shocked
too,
me.
I think?
I mean, that absolutely shocked, because watching him, I would never have said 57.
You know, we say this every year going into the breakfast shows, like, you're not going to get much from these the last drills. But just in the last 3 days, I've heard your guys' opinions change. Like, you've seen...
Totally flip-flop.
You've seen enough in just the 72 hours we've been here that have changed your mind in these final preparations.
I would have expected more of the Chief Wallaby works this morning.
Yes.
I was going around there on the bridle, but they're fast.
We're going to take a break. When we return, we'll have more here at Churchill Downs as breakfast at the Derby continues. Robusta, my favorite size of cigar, another contender from the West Coast for Doug O'Neill.
Harlan's Holiday is beginning to pick up horses on the outside. Wild Horses toward the inside. Request for Parole is only now about 6 lengths from the lead. Medaglia d'Oro now about 7 or 8 lengths from the lead. He's got a lot to do as they round the far turn. Essence of Dubai is beginning to pick it up now. Outside horses as the field makes their way toward the top of the stretch. It is still War Emblem in front. War Emblem is the leader as the field turns for home. Proud Citizen still hanging in there with the fighting chance. Perfect Drift is down toward the inside. Came Home is putting in his run now. He's about 4 lengths from the lead. Harlan's Holiday is picking it up. Here comes Medaglia d'Oro, who's there on the far outside. 1 furlong to go. War Emblem is still there. War Emblem, and he's pulling away. He's got another gear. War Emblem coming down to the final 16th. Now he's in front by 3, and now he's going to win it. War Emblem has won the Derby in front-running fashion. A beautiful ride there by Victor Espinosa.
War Emblem, I still think, is underestimated at how good of a racehorse he was. Remember, he stumbled out of the gate in the Belmont. That's why he lost the 3rd jewel of the Triple Crown. The other thing I love about it is that in that Derby, it was the only Baffert horse in the field over the only D. Wayne Lucas horse in the field, and the Exacta paid $1,400.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Dominated. And he was only purchased about 3 weeks before the Derby, right?
Off the Illinois Derby?
Yeah, off the Illinois Derby.
When it was at Sportsman Park, the Illinois Derby at Sportsman, yeah. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, Scott Hazelton standing by with Bob Baffert.
Well, Bob, Patente 57-4 out in 10-2. How easy did it do it this morning?
Well, I didn't think he was going that fast. I looked down and go, oh, he's going a little fast, you know. But he had a hold of him, you know, the whole way. We went out. I worked him with some company, and all of a sudden I looked at my watch and he was just cruising. He had a hold of him the whole way. You know, I was looking for about, you know, at least 59 and change, you know, 59, whatever. And so, he's a horse that he just bounced over this racetrack. You know, some horses get here, they're just, you know, struggle or else they bounce over it. But he got over it. You know, Santa Anita's a totally different kind of, you know, it's heavy and loose and stuff. But the main thing is he came back and looked like it was nothing for him, you know. So that's a good sign right there. Came back, he was happy. When he turned around, he still had a little bounce in him. So the time was a little fast, but he did it. He did it like effortlessly, which was pretty impressive. So I'd say I was pretty impressed with that work.
We were standing right at the gap, and as he was galloping out, couldn't hear him breathe. What did Martine say about that and the way that he handled it?
He said, "I think he's pretty good." So he was pretty excited about him.
Martines have worked a lot of really good horses for you through the years. I mean, is that why you lean on a person like Martine and obviously the past success that you've had with Martine?
Well, I mean, he's here. He worked my horse, but I worked him with company, a different kind of horse, you know, and he's a pretty nice horse that he worked with. But you know, the thing is about Martine, he knows my horses. He knows what I like, and you know, the track was really it was good at the break. It was really, you know, better than earlier, you know. So, but, you know, the thing is, he looks good, you know. Hope he looks, you know, tomorrow, you know, the rest of the week. But it looks like it took nothing out of him. So that's the important thing, you know. You don't really want to see him work that fast, but I've had horses work that fast and run really well, so.
Was the track maybe a little bit quicker this morning? Did that play into it?
I think it's a little bit quicker at the break. I think it was a little bit quicker. But the way he did it, he had a hold of him. I mean, he just had a really strong hold of him. That's why I didn't think he was going that fast. I looked at my watch. I go, wow, hey, dude, you know. But he had a hold of him, you know. So, and he came back, and he's bright and happy, so.
How did this workout with Patente compare to Litmus Test and his workout here at Churchill?
I wasn't here for that one, so he worked really well over it. You know, he worked them, and they're two different type of horses. So,
what makes them different?
One's bigger and stronger, and one's lighter, and you know they're made differently and all. So, but Patente, like I said, he's coming off a, you know, I think his Santa Anita race was a good tough race for him, and he needed that. You know, lightly raced like that, so it's going to get a tough one into him. And the way he worked today, and as long as he trains great the rest of the weekend, you know, that's the main thing. But I'm happy when I came back here. When I saw him turn around and came back, I saw he was still full of himself, and he didn't take a deep breath, so that's a good sign.
How has your approach changed through the almost 30 years of Derby preps and being here and prepping a horse and, you know, mapping out a game plan with horses, making, let's say, a 4-start like Potente? How has it evolved over the course of these almost 3 decades for you?
There's no plan. They just bring you here. There's no plan. All right? Okay.
Thank you, Bob.
All right.
Thank you, WDRB, for getting a microphone in there. Can I translate that for you?
Yeah.
I don't think he liked the time. I think he's concerned that it was too fast.
It's pretty quick, 6 days out.
But in his defense, it's what all of us set up here. You look at it and you don't think he's going 57.
No.
And you look down the watch and think, oh my word. But most important part of a work, you know when it is? The day after.
Yeah.
Right, and
it all means nothing if
the physical signs were all great. The visual signs were all great, but the time, 57-4, is so fast it's off your graph here.
It's off my graph, yeah. 104 is slow. We saw Chief Wallaby 101-4, 57. Like I said, they don't go that fast in the races sometimes.
And how fast did Citizen Bull work last year?
Same, I think.
57-4?
Same. But he did, as Bob was saying, he did it without duress.
I agree, yeah.
Very interesting. Well, we'll see how he does tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow, and the show continues on YouTube. So check us out on the old interwebs for Caton and Andy and Scott and Joe and Simon. We're going to be on YouTubes. Thanks for watching here on FanDuel TV. Hi, YouTubes. It's us again. Let's take a look at Robusta making his way onto the track.
He's got to get in the Derby.
Is he on the AEs?
Yeah.
I didn't even. I was. Oh yeah, he is right between Ocelli and Coronda Oro. My bad. Here he is out of the gate. So if he gets in, I would imagine he's going to show his trademark speed. Look, remember this horse was second in the San Felipe behind Potente, who we consider a contender, and in front of So Happy. So this horse beat So Happy, second by a head to Potente. He got sizzled in the Santa Anita Derby on the front end, but if he gets into the body of the race, he'll have an impact on it one way or another.
My problem is he's got one way to go. He goes and then, you know, the only time he won was when he got a clear lead, and that's not going to happen. He looks like a horse that throws out the anchor, you know. I know he finished second to Potente, but he's been beaten by So Happy twice. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's a big number.
Him and his stablemate, Pavlovian, pretty much have the same style.
Yeah.
He'll make it hot if he gets in, but he needs a couple of defections before he gets in. So Robusta, a Doug O'Neill runner for the Calumet Farm. And they didn't cross-enter him in anything. This is the only shot they got with this colt. They didn't try to put him in one of the other races, so he's not cross-entered at all. And if there are defections, and nobody's rooting for a defection at this point. If you make the entry box, of course, everybody wants you to get in, but they have an AE list for a reason, and he's sitting there on it. I mean, look, all the horses on the AE are outsiders looking in, whether it's Great White, Ocelli, Corona de Oro, or Robusta. They're on the AEs because they weren't one of the 20 best.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to need, 1, 2, 3 scratches to get in?
I know one thing, Great White, I know he didn't run well in the bluegrass, but John Ennis, if you hear his interviews, he is so high on that horse.
He wants to run.
Yeah, he really does.
He's
cross-entered in a Pat Day Mile, but he wants to get in. He said just completely throw that bluegrass race out.
And that was 103-3 for Robusta, so a very controlled pedestrian time on this quick track. Right now, you guys were talking about John Ennis. Andy B. and Cohen caught up with John Ennis just moments ago.
Well, with the defection of Chip Honcho, Great White is on the AE for John Ennis. You need 1 scratch for Great White to run, but nonetheless, he's shipped over from Keeneland in great order.
Yeah, he's fresh and well. He's first day galloping on the track. Galloped a mile there this morning, and his rider said he loved it around there. So, no, he's settling great, and he seems fresh and well.
John, you were telling me this is a little bit of a daily routine for Great White. He gets to graze, and you said we have to be careful he doesn't roll.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's found his spot here yet, but he will here in a day or so. As you see, he could roll any second, but he loves to have a roll and pick a grass. He'd rather be out here picking grass than walking around the shed row.
He is obviously a huge horse. He's almost gone viral on the internet. Pictures of him with his smaller workmates and next to his smaller friends in the van shipping over here. But what is his personality like as a whole, and how is he to train?
Oh, he's super easy to train. Very sound horse. Shipped over perfect. Yeah, he's huge, and he's kind of like a dog. If they want to go and sniff or smell somewhere, he just leads the way. You're just kind of along for the ride.
You certainly are along for the ride. Well, we'll let you enjoy your grass, and Great White looks excellent.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.
It always amazes me when they just take their Derby horses, let them graze on the grass there.
Oh, yeah. And people get to see him. Is it Longfield Avenue?
Yeah.
Down here, you can just drive by and see him.
You can drive right by and see him.
See him through the fence there.
Outstanding. All right, so John Andis, like you said, he's very high on Great White. He really does believe if he gets this horse in, he's got a legitimate shot at the Kentucky Derby.
And he is huge. I remember me and Matt Bernier were at Turfway Park that night when he won to John Battaglia. He is huge.
But they're all huge.
I mean,
to you, Joe.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Never challenge him to a limbo contest. Let's check in with Kate and Bradar.
Well, jockey Declan Cannon is doing double duty because you've been aboard 6-speed for his gallops the last few days here, and Brian Hernandez Jr. will have the mount in the Derby, but I think you should get a little extra pay because he looks really tough out there.
Yeah, he came with a reputation that I'd have my hands full, but no, he's doing well. He's full of energy. He's going to do a little breeze tomorrow, and he came in here fit and ready to go. So it's just keeping a lid on him for the next few days.
Well, it's no secret that his style is forward and to go to the front, but does he strike you as the type that not throttle back, but that is capable of relaxing even at that high cruising speed?
Yeah, he will relax, and when you watch his races with the last day with Barcelona, he had his hands lovely on his withers and he was in a lovely rhythm. So, and Brian, Brian will handle him fine. He's quiet rider, quiet hands, so they'll get along just fine.
Does he, more importantly, strike you as the type that can continue on with a 1.25 miles?
Yeah, he'll as long as he relaxes and doesn't fight too much into the first turn, I think he'll take him a long way for sure. He's on pedigree, he should, but like you say, it's the Derby and there's no hiding spots out there. He's going to have to be on his A game.
Will you be aboard for the work or will Brian?
I'll be on board, yeah.
We'll check back with you after that one.
Okay, thank you.
You thought it was Declan Cannon. It was Declan Cannon on the back there. 6-speed hit the track this morning.
Yeah, glad to know now.
He rode in California for a couple of summers, right? He was at Del Mar?
I think one summer, I believe.
I just remember because he did karaoke.
All the jockey karaoke, yeah.
I don't remember that night, Mike.
He wasn't very... None of you did. You can thank our sponsor, Tito's Vodka. Let's check in once again with Scott Hazelton.
I'm here with... What's your name, sir?
What? See, he said sir. He's interviewing you. You're on camera.
What's your name? Dinosaur? Is that dinosaur talk? Don't bite the microphone.
You want to say something?
What do you have to say, sir?
Anything? What do you have in your hand? What is that? What dinosaur is that?
Stegosaurus. Oh, don't bite it.
Stegosaurus, crew. Right?
You should go take a lap around the track.
Jimmy!
Let's work him 5/8, a quick 5/8.
Jimmy!
Do you what?
Jimmy.
You gonna bite it?
Why is Norm Casse trying to bite the microphone?
I love it.
Right? That was, of course, Miles and Cruz the older. He was trying to eat the microphone. Miles had the Stegosaurus. Very smart kid. He's future in paleontology for that one. And our old friend Gabby. What would the breakfast show be without Gabby?
Exactly.
I know.
You do?
I do, yeah.
He knows. Robert Schenk joining the conversation. Louisville bound in a few days. Number 8 can't wait. Who's number 8?
Who's number 8?
I don't have numbers on it. I gotta count. I gotta start and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who's 8?
Stand by. I want to know now.
So happy.
So happy.
So,
Yeah.
Mark Ladd, Mikey Smith.
My Derby pick is So Happy and Golden Tempo and Wonder Demon the Puma. Love Great White. Ooh, love Great White.
Okay.
See?
All right.
Hopefully he runs.
Yeah. For last tree.
Yeah.
So join the conversation on the social. Emerging Market is out of Candy Ride. Phenomenal pedigree in my wagers. I'm with you on Emerging Market, and the work here the other day would suggest he is ready to roll.
Yep.
Let's check in once again with Caton.
Well, Junior Alvarado just got off. Tell me what you felt from Chief Wallaby and his breeze.
You know, very handful, and I think just because it was just a maintenance war, you know, he was very, you know, wanted to do a little bit more, and you know, but he did it very nice, very easily. You know, I was actually worried a little bit going the first quarter. You know, to me it feels like he was just galloping out there, so I thought we were very slow. But you know, I guess the final time was 49 change, 49-1, 49-2, something like that. But I mean, he really was just doing it very easily there, gallop out with good energy, and he came back very good.
He was wearing blinkers. He's going to be wearing blinkers in the Kentucky Derby. Do you feel that might have been part of the reason he was a little bit more on the bridle?
Yeah, you know, he's a horse who we're trying to get a little more his attention. You know, he's just still a baby. You know, only run three times. So, you know, we normally let the horse develop and you know understand their job. But you know, I think we had to make that adjustment coming into the Derby. So I think he has definitely benefit from it.
Junior is obviously a very different horse coming into the Derby than the horse you were on last year in Sovereignty. But what are you feeling in him or sensing in him in terms of changes and development that give you confidence coming into the Derby?
You know, I think every race, you know, he has maturing. He has, you know, like giving me all the good signs that good horse have. You know, it's just like for him, he's just such a lightly raced horse. You know, that you know it's. A lot of things are coming very quick at him at once, you know, and I think, you know, he just does the part of him, you know. I think he's understanding now, and like I said, I got, you know, the last two times I got on him, you know, I can see a big difference from his time before, how more well-behaved he is now, how more serious in his work, and you know, that's something, you know, we were looking for heading into the Derby.
Post position 12 with a horse who comes from well off the pace right next to you. What type of a trip are you envisioning as the ideal?
Ideal trip, you know, probably we're going to be maybe laying 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. You know, it looks like there are a couple horses with a good speed, so hopefully, you know, they use their speed. But if you know, my horse has tactical speed. Last time he was laying a little close, so, you know, we can use that too at the same time if there's no much pace in the race.
Finally, is it any different coming in this year as opposed to last year?
Absolutely. You know, I feel like I got the title. I feel like I done it already. So, you know, it's definitely less pressure. You know, I feel like, you know, I already checked that mark right there. And this year, you know, I've just been enjoying it a little more and hopefully try to get a back-to-back.
Back-to-back, even sweeter. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Junior Alvarado, fresh off the plane yesterday at Gulfstream Park, a couple of stakes wins for the Mott Barn, and hoping that train continues all the way to Louisville.
And you said it. It makes a huge difference to have that win.
Yeah, once you got that monkey off your back, so to say, you can come in here a little more relaxed. And I tell you, I think he did a tremendous job working that horse because jockeys typically don't walk horses slow. They're not asked to do slow works in 49. There's that great video. This is him on the outside holding him up. You know, like I said, a lot of jockeys would be asked not to go this slow and hold this horse in company like this. He did a great job. There's that great video of him schooling Florence Giroux a couple of years ago in the drugstore. With the weights,
that was
with his biceps, and he's using them today. Look at his legs. I mean, he is pushing back on the irons there to keep this horse slow, and he didn't want to go too fast. He was under strict instructions, pulled it off perfectly.
And we said this earlier too, Simon. If he would have asked him at any point, just dropped his hands, he probably would have went 48 flat or quicker.
Ask him if he just would have stopped telling him to slow down.
Yeah.
And I think the advantage here, when you got a jockey like him working a horse slow like this before, he knows Bill's program.
Right.
He's been there a long time. He works a lot of horses for him in the morning, so he knows exactly how he wants it done.
That white vest is sharp. I might have to get one of those. Yeah, I like that.
It's easy to spot too.
Yeah. Right. For a trainer, it's great stuff, right, Simon? And you don't need to guess where your horse is. That is going to do it for this morning's breakfast at the Derby. We still have 4 more episodes, right? We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. We got racing this afternoon here at Churchill Downs. We will continue the Derby shows tomorrow. And, of course, you can watch the Derby show in its entirety now on YouTube as well. For Scott Hazelton, Caton Bradar, Andy Biancone, Joe Talamone, Simon Bray, I'm Mike Joyce. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow at breakfast at the Derby.